Sushtayim. So according to Rabbi Lazar, there's no problem. The mitzvah would have been done. According to Rabbi Yochanan, you have a requirement to do it. You have to count in that fashion. After the Kohen Gadol does the sprinkling from the bowl of the blood, of the cow blood, he takes the bowl outside into the heichal, and he places on a stand, a golden stand. And then when he did the goat blood, he placed it on a separate stand. According to Rabbi Yehuda, they put it all on the same stand. Rabbi Yehuda, in the Beis HaMikdash, there were stucco boxes that were labeled various korbanos, and people would put money in there. So Rabbi Yehuda says they didn't have a shofar for the pair of birds that a yoledes has to bring, a chatas and an olah, because it could get mixed up. Now, what kind of mixed up? Ma'im ibnei taruvas. Rav Yosef, ibnei taruvas choyva b'nedava. There are those that bring a pair of birds because they have a chiyuv to bring it, which is the chatas and the olah. And there are those that just bring a donative offering, which is just olos. Now, how you process a bird chatas versus a bird olah is different. One is the blood is above the line, one is below the line. So therefore, you could process, if you put money and it went to the wrong korban, you'd be processing the korban wrong. Armalei Abaya, the Navid tray. So to solve Rabbi Yehuda's problem, just make two different boxes. One box should say choiva, and one box should say nedava. How come Rabbi Yehuda doesn't do that? Rabbi Yehuda, less like ksiva. You can't rely on ksiva that way. There's still going to be mistakes. You can't be soymech on that. Where do you see this? This not. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, like our case in Yom Kippur, where they came out and they placed both kelim on the same stand. They didn't have two stands. There Rabbi Yehuda also, we're going to see, is concerned that the Kohen Gadol is going to mix up which blood is which. And we're going to see, and even if you wrote on it, this is the par, this is the sawyer, he doesn't rely on it, you can mix it up. Trey, my time low. Now, why not have two stands? Because the Kohen Gadol is going to get mixed up. Just have two stands. On one stand, it should write par, and the other stand, it should write soy. But you see, Rabbi Yehuda didn't give you that option. Rabbi Yehuda less like ksiva. So we see Rabbi Yehuda doesn't rely on ksiva. Okay, Meisve, I'll ask you a kasha on that opinion. Shlosha Srei Shoifers Hayuba Mikdash. There were 13 stucco boxes in the Beis HaMikdash that people could deposit money in when they came. Ayakosov Alein, Tiklin Chaditin, New Shkolin. Let's say you had given last year's Machzis Shekel, but you hadn't given this year's. And now you came to visit the Beis HaMikdash. You can deposit it in the box that's called New Shkolin. The Taklin Atikin. And there was a box for last year's Shkolim, that if you didn't bring last year's Shkolim, you could bring this, put it in this. The Kinin, which is a pair of birds, which are the korbanos choiva of either a pair of pigeons or a pair of doves. One would be for a chatas, one would be for an olah. The goizle oila. Now, if somebody just wanted to donate bird olos, so there was a box for that. The eitzim. Somebody wanted to donate wood. The levona, the spice for the lechem hapanim. V'zav lakapoiris, the gold that was used to cover the aron. V'shisha l'nadava, 6 boxes for general donative offerings. And all of those would be olas. Now, and the Baraisa, the Mishnah explains. Taklin chadatin elish kolim shel kol shana v'shana. The new machzis are shekel. Taklin chadatin mishlo shakadesh takal mishkol shana haba. The one who didn't bring last year has to bring it in as well. Kinin hein toiri, the pair of birds. Goizle oilehem bnei yoyim, the doves, the kulan oilas, the Rabbi Yehuda. And you see, Rav Yehuda allowed 1 box for the kinei choiva. So you see, he's not worried about the taruvis. He relies on the fact that they wrote on the boxes for each kupa. So how can you tell me Rav Yehuda doesn't rely on ksiva? It's a different reason why when we say that we're worried about the taruvis, we're worried that if somebody put money into a box where one of the korbanos is a chatas, and that person should die, then you have chatas shemesu bala, which has to go lemisa. So that's why he said you shouldn't put it in that box. Afraid the Gemara Michai Shinon. We're not worried for that vatnan. Somebody lives in China and he ate chaylev, and the Beis HaMikdash is still existing. So he used to send a chatas with a shaliach to offer the chatas on his behalf in the Beis HaMikdash. Now, how do we know that the guy hasn't died before? It's a 3-month trip from China to Yerushalayim. Why do we offer the korban when the shaliach gets there? Maybe the guy has died. The chazak is he's still alive. We're not worried that he's mace. So why are we worried if a person's going to put money in the box that he's going to die? We're not talking about maybe it happened. We're talking about we know for sure that somebody died from those that put the money in. Then you have a problem. So the Gemara says that's not a problem. Nivor arbaz using, take the amount of money that it costs to buy a goat for a chatas. Let's say 4 zuz. Vinishte b'mayim, throw it in the Yam HaMelech. So you got rid of. So you took that, and we're going to use the concept of breira. Breira means retroactive designation. That is the one we're going to say that was the one that covers the guy who died. Nishte b'mayim, v'hanech nishteri. And the remaining money will be okay. Oh, you can't do that because Rabbi Yehuda lesle breira. We're going to bring proof. Rabbi Yehuda doesn't hold of retroactive designation. Where do you see that he doesn't hold for retroactive designation? Ilema meha. Maybe from the following. It's not. You're in the market, Erev Shabbos, 5 minutes before Shabbos. And there's a kusi who's selling wine. And the kusim were not reliable that they gave maestris and trumas and all of that. Now, the guy who just bought the wine wants to drink this wine on Shabbos. Oimed ve'oimed, shnei lugin she'ani osid lahafish. He doesn't have time to be mafresh physically. He doesn't have the kalim. To separate trumas and maestris, you need other kalim. And you're going to put 2 log for truma and 10 log for meiser. You got to physically separate. He doesn't have time to physically. He doesn't have the kalim. He can't do it. So he says, you know what? Motzei Shabbos, I'm going to separate 2 lug for truma. If you have 100 lug, truma is 1/50. Hare ain't truma. Okay, Mario. Now we finished Nun Hey. And now
Hold
we're going to
on.
teach Nun Vav.